Lots of light in the background.
Hello, bonjour. If I could get everybody to grab their seats, please. We'll be commencing momentarily. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Ralph Goodell. I'm Member of Parliament for Regina Wascana, and it's my privilege to serve as Minister of Public Safety in the Government of Canada. We acknowledge with respect and gratitude that we are all together today on the territory of Treaty Number 10 and the homeland of the Métis. I want to welcome everyone here this morning. Thank you for coming. Particularly Premier Moe, welcome. Very glad to have you with us, and your ministers, Wyant and Morgan, are joining us as well. Member of Parliament Charlebois, thank you very much for being with us today. The Mayor of Loche, Robert St. Pierre, is here, together with a number of members of the Village Council. Leonard Montgrain, who is representing the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan, is with us today. There are members of the Clearwater River Dene Nation Council. I understand the chief has to be away today for an important consultation on caribou, but members of the Band Council are with us today. Principal Greg Hatch and his staff at Dene High School, thank you for being part of this. Members of the Northern Lights School Board and the Dene High School Community Council, thank you all for being with us today, together with many members of the community here in La Loche. And especially today, I want to acknowledge the amazing, resilient students and young people that attend this school, that we saw just moments ago having breakfast in the school breakfast program. The community and the future depends on all of these young people, and they are just an amazing group of people. As we think of what happened here 3 years ago, this is a time for solemn remembrance, grief, of course, for those who were lost, solace and support for the wounded and the traumatized, great gratitude for the first responders and all of the emergency workers of all kinds, and hope and solidarity and love for one another as we reach together for a better future, Dene strong and more. The Prime Minister has been very active in participating in the work of the Government of Canada in relation to La Loche. He was here 3 years ago. He promised persistent attention and personal attention, and he promised on that occasion that he would be back again to help to assist with the progress. And he's here today to do that, the Prime Minister of Canada.
Good morning, everyone. Edlanute Tanshi. Before I start, I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of Treaty 10 and homeland of the Métis people. Thank you for that introduction, Ralph, and thank you, Premier Moe, for welcoming us here today. Let me also take a moment to recognize Principal Hatch and the outstanding staff here at Dene High School. In 2017, 1 year after the terrible tragedy that hit Loche, I had the chance to sit down with 10 remarkable young people from this community. And we had a conversation that stuck with me, because I remember being struck by their resilience, by their determination to make a positive difference in the world. These young women and men refused to let their dreams be extinguished by a senseless moment of violence. When faced with tragedy, they responded with hope, with a will to make things better. Ce matin, j'ai encore une fois pu constater le potentiel énorme des jeunes de la communauté. Nous n'oublierons jamais la tragédie survenue en 2016, mais en même temps, elle ne définit pas la ville de la Loche. Les gens d'ici sont connus pour leur force et leur solidarité. Et alors que vous avancez sur le chemin de la guérison, vous pouvez compter sur notre appui. Nous sommes ici pour vous et ensemble, nous commencerons ce nouveau chapitre. When I was here in 2016, I told this community, the students, teachers, parents, friends, that we were standing behind you, that all of Canada was supporting you as you healed. So when you asked for more help, our government listened and responded. We're investing in new programs and resources for Dene High School, funding cultural and language-based programs, on-the-land activities, and mental health services for students. This is about listening to you. After all, you are best placed to know what your school community needs. So this investment of more than $2.2 million over 5 years will help Dene High School begin to write a new chapter. L'annonce d'aujourd'hui donne suite aux efforts qui ont déjà été déployés, que ce soit pour financer la prestation de services de santé mentale ou investir plus de 2 millions de dollars pour mobiliser les jeunes à risque et leurs familles. Notre gouvernement continuera de soutenir la Loche et la nation des Dene de Clearwater River, tout comme nous appuyons une foule de communautés à travers le pays. Everyone, no matter who they are or where they live, deserves a real and fair chance at success. Part of that is making sure that people have access to the basics, which is why we're investing in affordable housing across northern Saskatchewan. And the other part, of course, is dealing with the wrongs of yesterday so that we can create a better today. In other words, continuing to make progress on the journey of reconciliation. Progress that's based on a new relationship of respect and partnership. Progress that builds a brighter future for young people like the students here at Dene High School. As a father and former teacher, I know that any educator or parent will say the same thing, that our #1 job is to set our kids up to thrive. As a government, it's our responsibility too. That's what this announcement is all about, empowering young people and demonstrating that we believe deeply in their incredible potential. Because you, the students here today in the school, show us the way forward. Every day as they learn in these classrooms and walk through these halls, they remind us that even out of tragedy, hope will find a way. As kids do everywhere across the country and around the world, every day they remind us that a better future starts today. And it starts with all of them and all of you. Merci, Masichok. I'm now happy to turn it over to Premier Moe, and after that, I'll be taking media questions.
Well, thank you so much, Minister Goodale. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you for being here this week. Thank you for being here on this day. And thank you for standing behind the people of this province and this community in particular today. It's appreciated, and your standing behind the people of Loche is most noted by you making the effort to be here on this day. It's very humbling for me to join you this morning as we remember the lives that were lost on that fateful day just 3 years ago. Loche, the community and our province was shaken by, and our nation was shaken by a terrible tragedy. Everyone in this community felt the impact most assuredly, just as everyone in Saskatchewan and Canada shared in your grief. In the days and weeks that followed, my cabinet colleagues, Minister Wyant, Minister Morgan, and I had the privilege of visiting Loche on several occasions. We witnessed firsthand the pain and the sorrow brought about by a loss that was so sudden and so shocking. But we also saw inspiring courage. We saw deep compassion. We saw a community united and determined to recover and rebuild in the face of adversity that most of us could really never even imagine, that most of us would never experience. At the time, I was the Minister of Advanced Education for the province of Saskatchewan, and I remember meeting with teachers who had just lost their colleagues. Even in the immediate aftermath, their very first concern was for the students, knowing those students would have to grow and learn in a place where tragedy had changed their lives, had changed all of our lives. And I remember hearing the concerns of those teachers, those educators that day. I recall how determined they were to continue their recruitment efforts for this community, to convince others to come here, to teach, to live, and to build a life in the beautiful community of Loche in northern Saskatchewan. Just a few months after the tragedy, I want to share a story with you, but I received a phone call from Mark Klein, the principal at the Clearwater River Dene School. Mark happened to be in Regina, and he wanted to discuss a program idea he had called the DTEP program, or the Dene Teacher Education Program. And Mark was completely focused on, even at that time, completely focused on how best to serve the community, not just for today, but for years into the future. And thanks to Mark's initiative and a subsequent partnership between the provincial government and the First Nations University of Canada, we now have 23 students that are in the Dene Teacher Education Program here in the Loche and at Clearwater River. These are students that will graduate having never left their homes in the north, students who are from here and who will have the opportunity to build their career here in their community. My friends, walking through the doors of the Dene High School here today, you sense it. You sense the resilience, the determination. You sense a community that is making a comeback. 2 words on the floor of the school captured best: Dene Strong. Our government knew how important the renewal of this school is to Loche, to the residents and the students of the community of Loche. And that is why we supported the renovations that have taken place: a new front entrance, staff and administration rooms, a junior science room, a student lounge, as well as upgrading the washrooms, all important to ensure the opportunity for every student to foster their healing journey, and for every student to have the opportunity to inspire their learning journey. But we know it's the people and the community, not the building, who create the energy that truly make Loche a special place. It's the students who are eager to learn and passionate about their community and passionate about their future in their community. It's the teachers who support these students each and every day. And you have provided an inspiring and uplifting example over the last number of years of courage, of perseverance for Saskatchewan, for Canada, and for all of the world. Today we are thankful to join with the federal government in initiatives put forward for this community and the residents of this community with additional support with mental health services here in Loche. Prime Minister Trudeau, I can't tell you how grateful we are for your presence here this morning and for your commitment to this community. This funding will support initiatives already underway in great magnitude, a synergistic relationship for sure. Along with the mental health supports, we know that housing is also a priority for this community. In the past 3 years, we have partnered with Methy Construction in the construction of 14 new housing units. And today, we want to join with the federal government in announcing an expansion of that partnership, an expansion of that initiative with another 12 housing units that will be built here in the community. These housing units will be used for the use of teachers, of educators in the community of Loche, as well as healthcare professionals working in this community. We are hopeful that this additional housing can assist the ongoing recruitment effort in Loche. Ladies and gentlemen, we know the healing has taken place, much healing has taken place over the last 3 years. And we know this is just the beginning of our journey. And together, we can continue to build on the strength and resiliency that Loche, the people of Loche, have shown the world. Thank you so much for having us here today.
Now, happy to take questions from media.
Hello, Ryan McKenna, Canadian Press. This community has called for funding for many years now. It's been echoed time and time again. Why has it taken 3 years to actually get this funding in place for Loche?
We believe that the funding is important, but what it exactly is spent on is equally important, and that's why we don't believe in solutions brought forward out of Ottawa. We believe in working in partnership with the community, with the school, to look at what the specific needs are. That idea that Ottawa knows best is fortunately something very much of the past, particularly when it comes to reconciliation, to Indigenous communities, First Nations and Métis communities. That is something that we've moved forward on in the right way. There were immediate flowings of funds after the tragedy, but in terms of the right investments to build a resilient community, not just in response to a disaster, a tragedy, but for the medium and long term, we needed to make sure we're getting it right, and that's what we've been doing till today. Je pense que tout le monde comprend l'importance d'investir dans les communautés, mais les gens comprennent aussi l'importance d'investir de la bonne façon. Les solutions créées de toutes parts du gouvernement à Ottawa ne peuvent pas être les bonnes. C'est pour ça que nous travaillons avec la communauté depuis plusieurs années pour vraiment déterminer exactement ce dont ils ont besoin, pas seulement en réponse à la tragédie, mais pour bâtir une communauté plus forte pour le moyen et surtout le long terme pour les étudiants et pour tous les citoyens qui habitent ici.
You're in the same room as Premier Scott Moe today. You weren't able to meet with him a couple weeks ago. Are you two planning to meet today, and is convincing him on the federal carbon tax part of your agenda?
As you all know, my approach is to work collaboratively with all premiers across this country, and I've had many great conversations with Premier Moe. Many things we agree on, some we disagree on. We had a great meeting of all premiers just before Christmas. When I was here in Regina last week, the scheduling didn't work out. It's great to have an opportunity to meet with Premier Moe today here, but we're going to continue to work on issues that matter to folks in Saskatchewan. I have to highlight that over the past year, the work that governments have done, but specifically the work that citizens of Saskatchewan have done has led to the creation of about 11,000 new jobs here in Saskatchewan over the past year. And that is something that governments can facilitate when we invest in the right kinds of things together. But it's a tremendous credit to people and businesses here in Saskatchewan that that kind of positive economic results is something that we can highlight.
Français, Monsieur Trudeau.
Okay. Je suis toujours content d'échanger avec le Premier ministre Mo, avec tous les premiers ministres à travers le pays. J'ai des conversations régulières au téléphone et en personne. J'étais très content de pouvoir m'asseoir avec le Premier ministre Mo et tous les premiers ministres de ce pays juste avant Noël pour une rencontre sur notre économie. Et nous allons continuer de travailler ensemble à toutes les opportunités. La semaine passée, quand j'étais à Regina, je n'avais pas eu la chance de voir M. Mo à cause de nos horaires, mais je suis très content de le voir aujourd'hui. Je suis très content aussi de souligner que l'économie va bien ici au Saskatchewan parce qu'on est en train de travailler de la bonne façon. On a vu la création de 11 000 nouveaux emplois au cours de la dernière année. C'est une réflexion de comment les gens ici travaillent fort pour créer un avenir meilleur pour tous.
Oui, Raïssa de Radio-Canada, ça fait plusieurs jours que nous sommes ici. Les gens de la communauté disent qu'ils ont des besoins criants dans différents domaines, santé, logement, services de base, 2,2 millions de dollars pour l'école locale. Est-ce que c'est suffisant, M. Trudeau?
Bien sûr, il y a toujours plus à faire. Notre approche vers la réconciliation, vers la livraison de services adéquats pour les communautés autochtones, les communautés de Premières Nations, les communautés métisses et les communautés inuites à travers le pays et représente des investissements massifs de la part du gouvernement. Mais comme j'ai dit à chaque fois, nous travaillons en partenariat avec ces communautés. On sait que la Loche, ce n'est pas la seule communauté où il y a des besoins en matière de logement, en matière de services de santé, en matière d'investissement dans les écoles. On est en train d'en faire des investissements comme ça à travers le pays. On a investi des montants records. On a vu des vrais résultats, que ce soit d'enlever 72 avis d'ébullition d'eau à long terme à travers le pays, que ce soit en termes d'investir dans des nouveaux logements. Il y a beaucoup plus d'argent que ça, et qu'on est en train d'investir. Mais évidemment, ici, aujourd'hui, on est en train d'annoncer et de souligner l'investissement spécifiquement dans cette école, dans cette communauté qui a été si durement touchée par la tragédie il y a quelques années.
In English, Mr. Trudeau.
One of the things we recognize is there's a need to be investing significantly more in services for Indigenous people right across the country, whether it be First Nations or the Métis Nation, with whom we just recently signed a significant investment for new housing, or whether it be Inuit peoples in the far north. We know that there's always more to do, and that's why the investments we're making right across the country touch on mental health, on housing, on education, on health systems in general, on infrastructure and economic opportunities, but always in partnership with the Indigenous communities, partnership with people on the ground who tell us what their needs are, because the solutions come from Ottawa are not the way to move forward on it. It's in partnership that we were able to lift 72 drinking boil water advisories across the country, and we're very much on track to eliminating all of them on schedule as we promised to Canadians. We're going to continue to work hand in hand on historic investments in Indigenous communities, including working with partners at the municipal level, but also provincial level, and Indigenous governance as well as the private sector. Today, I'm very pleased to be here to announce this specific investment in this school community, but of course there's lots more to do and lots more that we are doing.
Hi, excuse me, Bridget Yard here from CBC. Just an international question for you. Do you agree with your ambassador to China that Ms. Meng has a strong case against extradition?
We have always highlighted that Canada is a country of the rule of law, and we will make sure that the rule of law is properly and fully followed. That, of course, includes the opportunity for her to mount a strong defense. That is part of our justice system, and we are going to apply that justice system in its integrity as all Canadians, and indeed as people around the world expect us to do as a country. We are a country of the rule of law. We will stay grounded in that at the same time as we advocate and engage in serious efforts to support the Canadians who have been arbitrarily detained in China.
So do you agree that she does have a strong case?
I think part of the strength of our justice system is people get to mount their own defense, and I know she will do that. We will ensure as a government and as a country that all the rules and the independence of our justice system is properly defended and properly supported.
En français, Monsieur Trudeau.
Okay. Nous avons reconnu depuis le début à quel point c'est important de défendre la règle de droit, de défendre notre système de justice et d'assurer de l'application dans l'intégrité de ce système de la justice. Et évidemment, ça comprend le droit de tout accusé de se défendre pleinement des accusations portées contre elle. Et c'est exactement ce que nous attendions dans ce cas. Nous allons nous assurer qu'à chaque étape, les lois et les règles sont suivies de façon rigoureuse et indépendante, tout en, évidemment, restant préoccupé du sort des Canadiens détenus en Chine.
Est-ce que vous endossez les propos de votre ambassadeur?
Okay. Comme j'ai dit, nous allons toujours assurer l'application de notre système de droit dans son intégrité, et ça inclut évidemment le droit de toute personne de se défendre adéquatement et pleinement devant la justice au Canada. I already said that in English.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Here you are in our territory, and you spend much of your time speaking French, and not enough